All right, you Discord degenerates. I'm going to talk about hourly falling wedges and the setups that have been presenting themselves. So, you know, that Trump administration just announced something with CRML, Greenland Rare Earths Metals Company. So, you know, we missed the big pump, right? So I always talk about the second pump too. I love the second pump personally because no one can figure out this, right? This is just lucky for people who just aren't following and just don't know, right? So if you there's a different situation here, right? So the rare earths players, the ones that are truly paying attention, you can see a great bottom here. By the way, this is a daily chart. So this is just a trading setup I have. This is the 5 minute, 15 hourly, and daily. So just looking at the daily momentarily, it's pretty easy to see that you had a good bottom here, right? And this is all hindsight stuff. All right, I'm assuming this was a SPAC at some point, right? This looks like SPAC, D-SPAC type action, right? I would say this is still a SPAC all in here. I'm just guessing. I'm not even going to dig around and look at the company, but you know, running through around the $10, you get that spike, and then you get the SPAC dump, you know, which pretty much all SPACs do, right? So the reason why I always say, by the way, on a tangent, the reason why I talk about these SPACs and how they dump is that you know all your original investors, your $10 guys that were in here for all through here, they want to take some money. They want to try to get out with some profits. You know, I don't necessarily know exactly how this dynamic played out. I'm literally just by judging from this chart, this looks very SPAC to me, right? So I'm sure this was all SPAC. I'm sure they were starting to talk about, hey, blah blah blah. This is where they start getting out, and then you get the full D-SPAC dump, right? And then this is the stuff that you're supposed to buy, right? So if you're looking at SPACs like whatever in the uranium space or wherever you're looking, you know, I tend to wait until I get this D-SPAC move before I even want to think about them. But that's on you, and that's a tangent. Anyway, just from the charting perspective, good bottom, pretty solid, right? It held. Like any technical analyst that's following this stuff would look at this and go, "Yep, pretty decent bottom, very low risk to play it here. I'll give it a shot," right? So that's the aggressive bulls. The less aggressive bulls say, "Okay, I got a little bit of a daily pivot. I can use this as my stop area, or I can still use this area and then I can go." So it's a daily uptrend. That's the point of it, right? Low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, blah blah blah. Keeps going on. All right, so back to this trading chart because the setups that truly have been presenting themselves is these hourly falling wedges after these big pumps, right? So we're starting to get it now. We're keeping an eye on it for sure. One would think that it's going to get something going on um, within the next day or two. That would be my guess. What is it based on? Well, it's based firstly on this, right? So Intel, you know, you missed again. We missed someone missed this news related pump. Okay, great. You missed it. All right. Intel was just nothing, nothingness forever. Right. So you missed this news related pump, whatever it was, probably Trump taking a stake, I'm guessing, or it might have Trump taking a stake might have been somewhere back here. But regardless of that, forget, we're just thinking about a technical pattern. All right. So you got the second pump, whatever it was, or the first pump. Now you got your hourly falling wedge. Monitor, monitor, monitor. Breaks out of the wedge. You knew it was going to break out, right? There's no question that at this somewhere at this in this juncture, it was either going down or up. It's just that simple. Um, you don't just buy a falling wedge because it's going to automatically go up. It is a bullish pattern, just as much as a rising wedge is a bearish pattern. We're super hyped up bullish market across the board. So the bet for me, the play for me, or what I'm trying to watch, is do we get the bull break out of it? Yes. So you've done nothing here. Then we started to watch this, and bang, breaks out of the wedge. You've got your move, right? Does it again, right? Intel does it again. Another falling wedge into all this support area. Bang, you get another thing. Now, one could say that Intel could be doing it again, right? So if we look at this falling wedge setup, you've got it again. So, third time, is that finally the one where it's going to get the breakdown? Don't know. Have to wait and see, right? But the point is that, again, we can't catch these unless we're super genius, unless we know better than a lot of other people. I believe the news was out already in this area because if we go to the daily, probably somewhere in here when the first news came out, right? You got these, and you had daily consolidation forming higher lows too. So where is this? Yeah, maybe this was the first news pump. So there it is. Okay. LAC, Lithium America, is the same exact deal, right? You got your first initial news pump of the government taking its stake. You got some confirmation on it. You finally got your hourly consolidation with a falling wedge. You get the break. What happens? Again, another huge pop, right? Get the hourly falling wedge again. Boom, you get the break. Another huge pop. So I am looking for that setup to occur here. It's just that simple. This is exactly what I'm looking for. I'm no question going to take the play. Um, maybe I can garner some sort of insight as to what this 15-minute chart does. Look, it's really hot. It's fine. RSI is not everything. But, this thing could still come down to 1084 area. What am I looking at here? Let me just see what's going on here. This falling wedge could still come down into the sevens. See this? On this little bit of an apex. It probably could use another touch on the bottom. So that's what I'm watching Monday and Tuesday. I'm hoping to get that set up, and I believe it's my belief that we're going to get the same type of deal that we got with Intel and that we got with Lithium Americas. So I'm going to be watching that closely, that dynamic. Take your chart. Take the hourly chart. What did I just do there? Ugh. Hold on, sorry. I suck at these things. Um, take your hourly chart, draw your wedge. This could be better. You want to get those solid candle touches. Okay, one. This, if you really want to make it tightness. All right, so that gives you your 3 solid candle touches. This gives you 3 solid candle touches. It's coming into the apex. First hour of trading, first 1 or 2 hours of trading should reveal what's going on tomorrow. Probably the first hour of trading. Um, that would be the play that I'm looking at. It could extend. I called. I'm going to go back to this because I was calling out the hourly falling wedge here. And you could draw it like this. Let's just forget about this part of it here, but you could draw it like this. I was calling this hourly falling wedge, and it broke down below it, right? So there's always the situation where it bear breaks. It's a fakie, right? So, but you see this, you got a good volume profile here. You take those into account, but this ended up being, again, another good falling wedge play. And I'm going to be looking to do it again. Um, these hourly falling wedges in hyped up bull markets, I think, are something really that we to be paying attention to. Less trading for me on Intel, right? So I've got a position down in like, I don't even know, 18s or whatever. I forget where it was. Trump said something way back here somewhere, and I just positioned up. I showed it all in chart, guys. My thought process. But regardless of that, that's what we're looking at. High priority watch from me on CRML tomorrow morning. Devil over and out.